Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So I'm here with my full review of the Microsoft Surface Duo. I've been using it for a couple of weeks now. I got mine on launch day. If you saw my last video about the Duo, I actually had to send my original one back and get a refund because it kind of started to do this warping, bending thing, which I totally wasn't cool with. So I got another one. I'm hoping this one doesn't have the same problem. I haven't had any issues with it yet, but it remains to be determined. I've heard other people have had some problems with it as well, especially in the comments on my video. Getting that out of the way. Talking about the phone. I actually happen to really like it. There are some things about it that I wish were a little bit better, especially for the $1,400 price tag. I mean, it cost me $1,515, factoring in tax and shipping and all that good stuff. So $13.99 MSRP, it is a little on the hefty side whenever it comes to price. So it's really good at productivity. It's really nice being able to hold it in lots of different configurations. You've got the fingerprint sensor on the side, and then you can hold it in what I like to call book mode. It makes it really nice to hold it like this whenever you're laying in bed, you're reading, you're doing your multitasking, looking at the news, watching your Twitter feed at the same time. It's really versatile, and I like that it's unique. That is one of the things I like the most about this phone. It's not like every other device. Even the other two-screen or even the other folding devices, this one brings a lot of creativity and originality to the game. Yes, we've had folding phones for quite a while. It started off with the ZTE Axon M way back in the day, and now here we are with the Microsoft Surface Duo several years later. LG's made a couple of attempts at it with the V60, the G8X last year, the V50, the Velvet. They kind of have this thing going on where you can pop the phone in the case and it becomes a dual-screen phone. This one, all party, all dual screen, all the time. It's very sleek looking. If there's one thing that I can really compliment this on is the way it looks. It looks very much like a Surface product. You've got the nice metal hinge on it. You've got basically no distance, only enough to be able to see sunlight in between the two screens. The hinge works great. It's fully articulating, wraps all the way around to the back, and then you can double tap on the screen back here to bring the primary screen around to the back. Or then you can flip it around to this side and do the same thing. So that's how you switch back and forth whenever it's open that way. Now, some important things that you need to know about with this phone. It has one 11 megapixel camera. That is okay. It is not the best in the world, but I think it's good for what Microsoft intended this device to be. It is more supposed to be a multitasking productivity device than it is actually a telephone, or something you use for Snapchat, or something you use to take pictures of things when you go to the zoo. Of course, it can do those things perfectly fine, but it's nothing to write home about, especially in the $1,400 category. If you try to put this up against a Note, if you try to put it up against an S20, if you try to put it up against an iPhone, if you try to put it up against some $300 or $400 phones, the camera will not hold up. And it's also a little on the irritating side because, hey, let me go ahead and take a picture. Oh wait, I can't take a picture behind me because the camera's on the front. So then you have to switch it around, flip it over like this, and then use this screen right here as the viewfinder. And then it's like, oh, wait, I can't take a selfie. Let me flip it back to the other side. All right, now I can take a selfie. So, maybe. All right, so I finally took a selfie. Took a couple times pressing it. Didn't really work out that well. But either way, you get the point. This is not designed to be that kind of phone. Now, like I said, it can do those things. It can do those things okay. You just kind of have to get used to it. Battery life. It's got a 3,577 milliamp battery. I think that that's a little on the small side, especially when we're talking about dual 5.8-inch AMOLED screens here, which do look great. These are probably the best looking screens I've seen all year outside of the Samsung world. I am going to give major thumbs up to Microsoft for putting really good displays on here. I really love the 4.3 aspect ratio. It's really nice for being able to do multitasking, getting work done, looking at Word documents. I even like it for playing games. It's really, really nice. I've been playing a lot of Among Us on here, and I totally love playing it because it kind of gives you that larger screen, not quite tablet level, but you're not stuck with the whole letterbox thing. You're not stuck with the really elongated, long aspect ratio. So it gives you a really nice traditional form factor with a large screen to play games, especially if you use Microsoft Xbox Game Pass. It's super nice because you get the cloud gaming. You can connect your Xbox controller straight to this, which I made a video on as well. You can play the stuff off of the Game Pass on here that's in the cloud. I really like that. It's really nice. Now, you've noticed I haven't really talked too much about specs so far. This is not a spec war phone. This is just a really good device that does what it's supposed to do, and I don't really have any hiccups whenever it comes to the hardware. It is, I think, powerful enough. I think it's reliable enough. Just to say it, we've got a Snapdragon 855, we've got 6 gigabytes of RAM. It has 128 gigabytes of internal storage, or you can get a 256 model for an additional $100. I wish it was 256 baseline, but I guess Microsoft said, no, not today. And of course, there's no SD card support either. But it is what it is. Now, it's basically made out of plastic. It's got Gorilla Glass on both sides, and on the front, you really wouldn't be able to tell. It is crazy thin. And the glass itself, it's super thin too. So the construction, the build quality, it feels really nice, and I think they did a good job making it. Now, it's got the fingerprint sensor over here on the side. I recommend registering multiple fingers on this, because that will make it easier whenever you're using the phone in different configurations. So this is nice right here to use my thumb, but then if you fold it around like this, there's no fingerprint sensor there anymore. It is now on this side. So register your extra fingers and you'll be good to go. Picture quality, video quality is okay. Like I said, 11 megapixel camera. This camera is not going to win any awards at a National Geographic competition. I'm sorry, but it really doesn't need to. It's really nice for making doing your Microsoft Teams. It's really good for Duo calls. It's really good for Zoom calls. It's really nice being able to just set it up and prop it up and use it. It's really nice, actually, like this. So you've got the camera up here. You got the LED flash. It looks like a little laptop, which is nice. It doesn't really work as well as a laptop, though. Everything is still kind of in mobile mode. And yes, you've got the full complement of Microsoft stuff already pre-installed in here. You've got Excel, you've got Word, you've got Microsoft Exchange, which is really nice. I've got my work Exchange email set up on here. It is great for being able to really get yourself immersed in like a multitasking work kind of experience. It lets you stay up to date on the go, and you can do some responding, you can do some drafting, you can do some editing if you need to, especially if you have the Surface Pen. I have a older Surface Pen, but the new one that's kind of flat, the more modern one, it's really nice, and I really want to get one of those. And it even attaches on here because of the magnets that's on here, so you can affix it to the phone, so you can set it there if you need to. I think that Microsoft did a decent job with their first stab at this. There have been some improvements. A lot of the issues that people were complaining about and that I was complaining about in the get-go, some things still need to be ironed up, like the switching back and forth between the screens. The camera is still kind of laggy, still kind of clunky. Sometimes you have to press the shutter a few times, and then it might take a picture. Like, it's really not the fastest or the best interface when it comes to taking pictures. Sometimes it's annoying. It doesn't want to flip from one side to the other. You can't swipe back. Sometimes, like if you're using the browser, you have to flip the phone like this so you can enable the swipe gestures so you can swipe backwards. So if you don't like swipe gestures and you want to use the menu buttons down on the bottom, that may be the way to go with this right now until they get all of that stuff ironed out, because that can be really annoying. It's nice because it has SwiftKey built in. You can resize it as appropriate, or you can stretch it out, or you can send it from one side to the other. It's really nice using the phone because if you start something on one side of the screen and then you move to the other, voila, like this. So we've got Twitter, and then let's say we want to go ahead and do a tweet. Oh wait, I want to type with my right hand. Whoop, swipe it over there. Oh wait, I want to swipe this back over to the right, and then I want to pull up the Internet Explorer over here. Use Edge, use Chrome. So it's very versatile. It gives you a lot of options, and it's a good first stab at things. I think whenever Microsoft comes out with a major patch on this and fixes some things, there was actually a software update today, which is the 6th of October. It was about 130 megabytes. I downloaded it. It's supposed to have some system improvement stuff on there, so I got to install that tonight. I already downloaded it. But if you ask me if I like it, yes, I do. If you ask me if it's worth $1,400, for most people, it's really not. Unless you go into this understanding that this is not a traditional phone. It works as a phone, which I appreciate because sometimes you need it to. You've got the speaker phone, you've got the regular phone. It's good for some meetings. It's good for modern communication in a COVID world where you're working from home. So it adds an extra element to things where you may not necessarily always need the laptop, or you may can leave your cell phone at home and you can leave the laptop at home if you just need to kind of stay connected, but you don't really need to do any intensive work. This right here is great for that, because you can tie it in with your Exchange server. You can get your work email. You can pull up the app and you can manage your stock portfolio. You can respond to email. You can view all the attachments natively because it's got all the apps already built in. You don't have to go download all of them. You don't have to set them all up. This is really nice for some business people. It's not for your kids. It's probably not for most people. And I think that it's really okay to say that. See, we're in this wonderful place in 2020 right now where there are these novel form factors that may not necessarily be the best device for the masses, but it offers great solutions and great tandem capabilities, or it adds certain features to your phone beyond just being a communications and a multimedia and social media device that might be missing out on. So this right here, I think it serves a purpose. And whenever Microsoft set out to make this, they weren't trying to make a tablet. They weren't trying to make a laptop. They weren't trying to make a phone. This is a new, unique style device, which of course there's no fancy name for. We just call everything that makes phone calls a phone. So for lack of better terminology, it is a phone. I call it a communications device because of course it is much more robust than just calling your mom on the phone or making a business call. And of course it's nice to be able to combine it with your Surface Buds if you happen to have those. So I think they did a good job. This phone certainly isn't for everybody. Some of the bugs have already improved. It doesn't go into crazy strobe effect mode when I use Chrome anymore. They've got that fixed. That was a Chrome issue. That was not a Surface Duo issue. And some of the other ones are too. As they get apps a little bit more refined for this, I think you're going to have less and less problems. But otherwise, if you're interested in it, if you've got the money for it and you're just itching to spend $1,400, $1,500 to give this a whirl, go for it. It's got a 60-day return policy with Microsoft, which is good. And one of the reasons why I returned my broke one and I got a new one because, one, they said it was going to take them 2 weeks at least to fix it and then send me another one or assess that there was something wrong with it. Or I could just buy a new one and send the other one back and get my money credited back in a few days. Plus I get, the new 60 days. So test it out further, see what happens, and see where they go with the software. Hopefully, Microsoft is the greatest, software company in the world, blah, blah, blah. Windows, hooray. But they made a couple of missteps with this, and I think that they're going to fix it. I'm hoping that this patch, makes it a little bit more fluid, makes it a little bit faster, takes some of the clunkiness out of it. I don't want to say it's a beta product. I think that the hardware is sound, other than just making sure that it doesn't start bending again. But the software, I think, is the beta product. And if they can get that nailed in this device and they can fine tune it and make it to where it meets your expectations better when you pick this up, feels a little snappier, don't run into as many bugs or glitches or hiccups that take you out of the experience when you're using it, then I think it's going to be much more justifiable. And to echo many other people's sentiments, this has me really excited about what next year's model might bring, assuming they're going to make another one. But this is here now. I think that if you're interested in it, it can be fun, it can be interesting, and it's great for multitasking, but I'm still not going to recommend this to like 95% of the world. So that's all I've got on my full review of the Microsoft Surface Duo. Hopefully this has answered some questions for you. If you're curious about the device, hopefully I gave you the information you were looking for. And I almost forgot to mention, it doesn't have band 71 LTE, so no 600 megahertz. It doesn't have 5G. It's not waterproof. It doesn't have wireless charging. And there you have it. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.